Hey everyone, my name is Brady Whitten and this is The Word Meets the World for February 16th, 2022. So cancel culture has been in the news recently as artists like Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and India Arie have removed their music from streaming giant Spotify after Joe Rogan, the host of the popular podcast The Joe Rogan Experience, was accused of spreading misinformation about COVID and using racial slurs. So according to dictionary.com, cancel culture is the popular practice of withdrawing support for public figures and companies after they have done or said something considered objectionable or offensive. Now, some see cancel culture as a form of public accountability, others as a form of censorship and mob justice. Some think it's a significant problem, and others just think it's a part of life in the social media era. But what does the Bible have to say about this subject? What does the Bible say about cancel culture? That's our topic for this week's The Word Meets the World. So what does the Bible have to say about cancel culture? Now, the term cancel culture is a modern day one, and so we shouldn't expect the Bible to address the topic directly. But as is often the case, the Bible does offer helpful guidance in our thinking about the subject. So according to Pew Research, 1 in 5 Americans view cancel culture as a form of public accountability. A self-described liberal Democrat in her 30s said, "Cancel culture is a movement to remove celebrity status or esteem from a person, place, or thing based on offensive behavior or transgression." Now, if that's what cancel culture is about, public accountability, then I would say the Bible supports it. The prophets in the Hebrew Scriptures were people who often spoke truth to power. Probably the most famous example of this is when the prophet Nathan confronted King David about his violation of Bathsheba and the murder of her husband Uriah. In 2 Samuel 12:9, Nathan says this to David, "Why have you despised the word of the Lord to do what is evil in his sight?" Cancel culture could also be seen as an attempt to follow the directive of Proverbs 31:8 and 9, which says, "Speak out for those who cannot speak, for the rights of all the destitute. Speak out, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy." So in the case of Joe Rogan's use of racial slurs, calling him out is a way to speak up for the black community and against racism. And historically, there are cancellations that have created forward momentum and lasting change. The civil rights movement's boycotts of segregated businesses and bus systems are two such examples. But cancel culture has a dark side as well. Some see cancel culture as a form of biased censorship and mob rule. Pew Research, again, reports a conservative Republican in his 50s saying, "Cancel culture is trying to silence someone that does not have the same belief as you." A self-described liberal Democrat in his 20s said, "Cancel culture is a synonym for political correctness, where words and phrases are taken out of context to bury the careers of people, a mob mentality." Now, if this is how we understand cancel culture, then the Bible offers us some pretty strong warnings. Proverbs 18:17 says this, "The one who first states a case seems right, until the other comes and cross-examines." Can you think of a time when you were just really convinced you were right about something, only to find out later you'd been mistaken? It certainly happened to me. And in the world of social media, misinformation and half-truths spread very quickly. We would be wise to investigate things thoroughly before jumping on the bandwagon, especially when people's reputations and livelihoods are on the line. At the same time, in matters of justice, we mustn't let our fear of being mistaken or disliked keep us silent. We should do our best to learn the truth and then speak up for what's right. As Elie Wiesel famously says, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor and never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. But when we do speak up as Christians, we also need to be cautious about a few things. Proverbs 16:18 says that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. We as Christians should always speak with humility. And maybe that just means being aware of our own failings and our own faults. Ephesians 4:15 says that we should always speak the truth in love. And now my understanding of love is that love is what is wanting what's best for everyone, even the one who has done wrong. And when wrong has been done, as Christians, we are to approach the situation with a bias towards reconciliation. In Galatians 6, verse 1, Paul says this, "My friends, if anyone is detected in a transgression, you who have received the Spirit should restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness." So what does that restoration and reconciliation look like? So after clips of Joe Rogan using the N-word emerged, he issued an apology. And this is what he said. He said, "This is the most regretful and shameful thing I've ever had to talk about publicly. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say." So an apology is good. But in addition to his apology, maybe Rogan could agree to appear in a series of anti-racism ads. Maybe he could volunteer to do some form of public service or offer some other tangible sign of his remorse. Certainly, a contrite Joe Rogan would do more for the cause of anti-racism than a martyred and emboldened Joe Rogan. So what is the biblical view of cancel culture? I think when cancel culture is speaking truth to power, if it's about speaking up for the marginalized, if it really is about public accountability, then I believe the Bible affirms it. But in the times when cancel culture jumps to conclusions, is arrogant and mean-spirited, and refuses to work towards reconciliation, I believe the Bible rejects it. So what do you think about all this? I do want to offer you some questions, maybe to guide your own thinking, or if you're a part of a group, you can use them as part of a group discussion. Before I put those questions up, I do want to ask you to please like and share this video. Help us to get word out about The Word Meets the World. And please like, subscribe, and follow First United Methodist Church of Baton Rouge on social media. See you next time, everyone.